Manifestation Pod. We are Louise and Sam, two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives through friendship, self-improvement, manifestation, the law of attraction, and a little bit of the magic. We look forward to you joining us on our fortnightly podcast.
Hello, welcome to episode 27 of the Manifestation Pod with me, Sam Fillingham, and Louise Marshall. Hi, Louise. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. It has been 2 weeks since our last pod.
Oh, sorry, I've just smashed the microphone. I don't know whether you heard that.
Oh, no. I guess we should explain ourselves, hey, with our 2-week hiatus before we check in.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we were doing weekly episodes, and now we're doing bi-weekly. No, not bi-weekly, because that'd be twice a week. Fortnightly episodes again. Not for really any great reason other than it was quite difficult doing the weekly episode. And I feel like we've not got the subjects to talk about weekly. So yeah, we're going fortnightly again. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
We'll see how we get on.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite gelling completely, was it? So back to fortnightly.
No. Yeah, back to fortnightly. And we'll see how we get on with fortnightly, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. And what have you been up to then in the last 2 weeks? What's happening with you? Let's do a little check-in.
Gosh, I can't remember. The last 2 weeks. So probably the biggest thing this week has been the getting into secondary schools. That's been a big thing in our house this week. Will she get in the school she wants? And yes, she has. So yay! And the same for you, obviously. That'll be your part of your week as well. But other than that, what have I been doing all week? Not a great deal. Work's really busy because it's year end. So I've been very much focused on that. The kitchen's being done. I've got a day at the end of April, so I've been booking things in for that. The car has had an MOT, so that's been in the garage, and it's going in to have there was some storm damage a couple of months ago, and I thought it would be quite easy to fix, and it isn't. It's a lot more expensive, so it's gone in via the insurance. So I'm going to get a nice courtesy car this week, which I'm looking forward to. That'll be exciting. Particularly if it's got petrol instead of electric, because I'll feel like a whole new sense of freedom that I can go wherever I want. We might do a little road trip next week, you never know. And the new car is coming a week on Friday. So yeah, it's been very much the last couple of weeks, what would we call it collectively? Sorting shit out. Yeah, sorting stuff out for like things that are happening in the next month or so. So yeah, that's been my week really. Nothing very exciting, but all good. All moving in the right direction. How about you?
Sounds like it. Yeah, same with busyness, just like lots of stuff happening. Work's been really busy. I've been away in Glasgow with work this week, so that was nice, but it was so busy. I don't feel like I got to enjoy too much of it. But it was nice to go somewhere different and do something different. So that was really good. I got to do yoga nidra with my mum and my auntie whilst I was away. That was probably my highlight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
What did you do? Did you do like a private session, or did you do online and they jumped on?
No, they were with me. They came with me because I was staying at my auntie's. So, we did.
Yes, you did it for them there while you were there.
Yeah, which was lovely. Really, really enjoyed that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was good. And then I had to actually cancel my yoga class on Friday because I only had one person in it. And I was so tired from being away. I was just like, all the signs are pointing towards me cancelling it. So yeah, that's the first time I've done that. But, I was okay with it. I was really tired. There was only one person booked in. So it made sense. So yeah, you just got to follow the signs. Got to follow the signs sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So leading
Yeah,
quite.
especially for something like that.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's all right. We've got connection jumble tonight, haven't we?
I think we have. I think we have got connection jumble. Yeah, I suppose you can't do something like that if you're feeling tired, can you? Because you need the right energy. And if you haven't got the right energy, I don't suppose you can teach other people to kind of lean into it and chill out, can you?
No, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. If you've not got that energy to give, then it's best to cancel, isn't it? And then when the last person
Yeah.
cut out, I was like, right, that's 100% aside. I'm following it. So yeah, that was my week really.
Good.
What are we talking about this week? We're going to talk about the leap year because we are just after the 29th of February as we're recording this. And it's a bonus day because it's a leap year. And it just got me thinking. And also, there was a little workshop that I did about it as well, which properly inspired this topic for me, really. It was Elisa Sykes' workshop, and I did it yesterday. And she was just asking all questions about where were you on the 29th of Feb in 2020? Who were you? What were you doing? So it really got me thinking. Did you look back and see what you were doing?
Yes. Yeah, the 29th of Feb on what year was it? 2020. Yeah, I look back today. So should we just jump right into it? Who's going to go first?
Yeah, you go for it. I'm dying to hear yours.
So mine, the 29th of March 2020. So I had started a new job on January the 2nd. So I was really new in this new company that I went to work for. I still work there. And the 26th of March, the UK went into lockdown. I'm not sure if you got that in your notes when you were looking at stuff,
Yeah.
but that week in particular, so part of the reason I went to work where I went to work was because I was told the social life was amazing and there was loads of nights out. And it's quite ironic that I started and then we went into lockdown within like the first 3 months. But my friend Amy works there, and that was also part of the pull for me to go and work there. I'd had a really shit year the year before, 2019. The back half of 2019 was when I had, let's call it my little breakdown in a job that I hated. Everything was going wrong. Life was rubbish. So this was a real new start in 2020. And then we went into lockdown on the 26th of March. But it was announced, I think, on the 23rd of March that it would be happening on the Thursday. And me and Amy went out on the Wednesday night as a little bit of our last drink before lockdown, because if you remember the beginning of lockdown, no one knew what was going to happen. No one knew how long it was going to last for. And I remember someone saying, oh, they're going to close the schools until September. Now, bearing in mind it was March, it was a bit like, that's never going to happen. That's like the rest of the year. It's not going to happen. And so it was a bit of a weird week anyway. So me and Amy went out to get a drink, not realising not many places would be open because people had started locking down already. So we ended up in this pub that we went to get some food and have a drink. They'd stopped doing food, so it was just alcohol, and we got absolutely leathered. And we ended up in a Weatherspoons at midnight. She was eating a full English breakfast at midnight. I was absolutely that drunk I couldn't even walk. And I think she came back to my house. Anyway, long story short, we went to bed at 3 a.m. We had work the next day. And even though the next day was horrific, I remember feeling like we have had a really good blowout. And then little did we know that lockdown lasted quite a while, didn't it? It would be quite some time before we'd have that kind of night again. So yeah, that's where I was. It was strange.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
really strange to think about that time, like just before lockdown, because we really just had no idea what was coming, did we? It's weird.
No, not at all. I remember I don't watch the news as a rule, but in work we have it on like big screens. And during that week it was on constantly. Like it's normally only on at lunchtime, and before 9 in the morning and after 5 o'clock. But that week it was on constantly. I mean, everyone was glued to the news because we all wondered what was going on. And it was like breaking news every 10 minutes. And I remember feeling slightly petrified that I was absolutely convinced I was going to die and that we all were going to die and it was the end of the world, combined with a little bit of excitement that I'd get to work from home.
Yeah.
I would be at home. And that kind of felt quite exciting, really, at the time, because we didn't know anything then, did we? It was that week, it was that very last week, and we didn't know anything. We were just like, oh, going to work from home this week, and oh, it's all a bit weird and strange, and what's going to happen, and how we're going to do this, and have we got the right equipment? It was all very, it was all very weird, but a bit exciting as well.
So I was at home like that day on the 29th of Feb when I look back on my like Google locations and I just like dropped the kids off at school and was at home because I was already working from home, if you remember. So I was working at HMRC, but I was home working.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was working from home. I had been into the office that week though when I looked back a couple of days before. And I'd done like loads of panic shopping. Like I remember buying like loads of party supplies for Iris's birthday the next month and just random shopping thinking, when will we ever be able to come out to the shops again? Like, it's all gonna change. So Iris was just about to turn 8, as was Charlotte. George was just about to turn 12. And I'd been to Manchester that week and I was planning a Scottish Family Day for the charity as well in the summer.
I remember that. You changed that, didn't you?
Yeah, that went online.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. But I started thinking about who I was then, and obviously still working full time at HMRC, doing the charity in my spare time. No idea that I'd be a yoga nidra teacher one day in 4 years' time.
Yeah.
And obviously nowhere near as spiritual as I am now and like connected to all that. So that really made me think about what will happen in 4 years' time that you would not even think you're going to be
If you're on
doing
the
it.
same. Yeah, especially if you carry on this journey like we're kind of doing. Because if you think about even where we were on that day at the Monkey Forest when this whole thing started, really, for me and you, if you think where we were then, that wasn't even that long ago to where we are now. Like, everything's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And
So,
that was only like 18 months ago, less even, isn't it?
Yeah, less than that. Yeah, I definitely wasn't as doing all this stuff then at all. It wasn't on my radar, but it has been on my radar in the past, and I've done this kind of stuff before, but I definitely wasn't doing anything like that. But I feel like in 2020, I think because I'd had such a bad year the year before, I was so grateful. I think of 2020 as a year of gratitude. I was so grateful for many things in 2020. I was so grateful for my job. I was so grateful to what I still am. I'm so grateful to work with really nice people who are all really positive and happy most of the time and a really nice atmosphere to work in. I was grateful, I don't know, to be earning money and not thinking, oh God, I'm going to have to leave because I absolutely hate it, which is where I was with the job before that. I was grateful to be working with Amy again. Because weirdly, before that, in 2019, when I was having like a breakdown, I wrote a list of people that I wanted to spend more time with who I didn't see that much of. And Amy was definitely one of them. She was top of the list because I just thought, I don't spend anything like enough time with her. I rarely see her anymore. And I really want to see more of her because apart from the fact we're friends, she's a really upbeat person, a really positive person, and she's fun to be around. And I felt like I needed more of that in my life. And then as it happened, and she was the one who told me weirdly there was a job going at her place and to apply for it. And I did, and I got it. And then we were like working together and we're naturally closer because I see so much of her. We work together now. So yeah, I just remember feeling very grateful that year. And even through lockdown, and I know people had a really, really hard time, but I didn't really because I was still in. I'd had such a bad year the year before, a year that I thought, my mental health was so bad, and I really didn't think I'd recover from that and get back to normal and get back to being me. I think being at home, all the pressure was taken off me.
Yeah.
So I was better, but I could get properly better.
Mm.
And I felt like I had a few coping mechanisms to get me through things that might have been difficult for other people, like negative thoughts. I did loads of work on that the year before about, is it real or is it in your head?
Mm.
And had all that happened the year before, I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know how I would have got down through lockdown, but I got through it, I think, fairly easily because of all the things I've learned the year before.
Yeah, it's really interesting that, and I think you're right. Like
Yeah.
these things got you through it, don't they? I think
Yeah.
to a degree, like I've done a fair bit of that as well, but I don't know. There was so much that happened, like work-wise, in that lockdown because, mind you, it
Yeah.
was the second lockdown where work-wise, really, mine got sort of completely fell apart. The first one was kind of okay, but it's just really weird to think of like me being that person at HMRC and still doing all of that. And I think
Yeah.
the working from home was like well, that's not going to change for me. It's just going to be normal. So that wasn't too much different. And then, the kids being up and everything was a big change. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a totally different person
Yeah.
when I think about it
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
And it was, I mean, I always seem to look at things sometimes with rose tinted glasses, but I think I remember homeschooling I found really difficult.
Yeah.
That was hard. I was in a new job, and even though I knew how to do the job, I didn't know how to use their computer systems, all 57 million of them. And I remember finding that difficult, and then trying to do homeschooling on top of that. That was challenging. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think my mentality was just do what you can to everything. I dropped my standards for everything: the house,
Yeah.
food, schooling, work.
Yeah.
I just dropped my standards and thought I'll just do what I can do. And having that mentality, especially for someone like me who's a complete control freak, um, it's kind of good to let go sometimes and just go, I'll do what I can do and no more, and
Yeah.
it'll all work out. And it kind of did. We got through it as a nation. We got through it, didn't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, we
Not
did.
apart from the publicans that died, obviously, but yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't have a nice time of it, isn't there?
yeah.
Yeah, there's a series on ITV at the moment. I think it's called Breathtaking or something like that.
Oh God, I watched it. It was so
Yeah,
depressing.
it
It,
was.
it was good. It was good, but it was. And that happened. Shit like that happened.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And we lost Kevin. We lost my stepdad, not because of COVID, but he died in December 2020. And obviously that was really hard. Probably harder for my mum. Well, obviously hard, not probably, obviously harder for my mum, but
Yeah.
having lockdown then being in a lockdown situation
Mm.
when you're on your own, yeah, would have been hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we lost my grandma like in the April, so like in the first wave when all the care homes got hit with it. So yeah, it was only actually watching the program last week that I really even thought about all of that because I felt so detached from it at the time because obviously you couldn't go there, you couldn't have a funeral,
Yeah,
you couldn't see any of it. So it actually opened up a really good conversation with my mum about it of like, what actually happened? Because yeah, I hadn't really sort of fully known or processed any of that, which was
yeah,
interesting. But yeah, I didn't expect this was going to go into COVID, but of course it is because that was what 2020 was, wasn't it?
yeah. Especially at this time at March, that was the very, very start of it. So yeah, there was it. That's all anyone was talking about was COVID.
Yeah. But then February, so like end of February, yeah, it was, wasn't it? It'd been all those weeks leading up to, like you say, the end of
Have
March.
I said? Oh my God, have I said March throughout this podcast?
You did just at the beginning, but I know you meant February.
Did I mean February? I'm trying to think now. When I looked, was it February or was it March?
I don't know, because did you say just before lockdown when you went out? You might have looked at March.
I might have looked in March. Honest to God. Do you know, I've done this all week. I don't know what it is with February, March, but all week I keep thinking we're getting towards the end of March and we're not, are we?
No, it's only just begun. Only just begun.
It has only just begun. Yeah, I'll have to do a bit of an edit on the next podcast about whether lockdown did happen in February or March. I haven't got a clue now. And everything I've just said might indeed be a lie.
No, your lockdown dates are right, because Iris's birthday was the 22nd and we locked the kids down a few days before Boris, and that was around the 21st, 22nd when we did that. So it's
March.
Yeah, of March.
Right, so when we were talking about the leap year, that wasn't the end of February, that was the end of March.
Well, I was talking about the end of February for the leap year, because that's when the leap.
Yeah, well, I thought that's when lockdown was, because again, February, March all blends into one for me. So yeah, everything I said that happened in the leap year didn't. It was a month later. I don't know what I was doing on the 29th of February. Who knows? Haven't got a clue.
Well, it's all the life stage stuff. It still applies, doesn't it? You know?
Absolutely, yeah. I was still the same person. Perhaps might have had a better grasp on what date it was then, because I haven't got a clue now. Honestly,
when
so much for research.
I love it. The only other thing I wanted to say was, like, I've made some notes in my journal about who I was then. And I've put, I was scared, small, and afraid. And I was walking to survive, because when I look back at what I was doing, there was like loads of walks, which, I love walks. It was great. But I wasn't walking for pleasure. I was walking to survive that job and things that I was doing then.
Yeah.
Just horrible.
So for you, there's a huge difference, isn't between where you are there. You see, it's not that big for me.
Yeah.
Where I was, like, mentally and where I am now.
Mm.
But for you, that's huge, isn't it? Because you're not small now, are you?
No.
You're not making yourself small or feeling small
or afraid.
You're out there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're out there, you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So fast forward then. February 29th, 2028, Louise. What are we doing?
My God.
Who are we going to be? And what's the first step?
Well, in breaking, shocking news that I know you won't even believe, but my pensions, like, I can draw on them in 2028. Can you believe that?
No, I can't believe that. Are you lying?
Because I am old. No, so when I left school, I set up private pensions, like, as soon as I left school.
Yeah.
And, back then, it was, I think they asked me what age do you want to retire, and when you're 18, I was like 55. So yeah, I'll be 55 in 2028, and yeah, my private pensions, I can, like, draw them down. I don't even know what the terminology is. I really need to get a grip on my pensions, but yeah. So I don't know where I want to be. You've obviously thought about where you want to be, so maybe you talk about yours first while I think.
Yeah. Okay, I did put a little bit of thought into it, and I thought about, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, about the house on the beach. I thought I'll be living in my house on the beach.
Ooh,
with a business
like
that allows me to travel the world, sharing my yoga nidra.
I love that. I like how big that is.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that space of, what's happened in this 4 years and what could happen in the next, and, like, the limitless, infinite possibilities in between all of that. It really captured my imagination, like, thinking about.
I love that. You see, sometimes limitless kind of impedes me because I can't think that big. It's too big. I'm like, I don't know. It's too much choice. But I think I don't know. Where would I want to be in 2028? I'd want to be mainly working for myself. I think I really need to make my own income and not be relying on a job for money. I think that'd be my dream. And living, I'd quite like to be living in town, but I know that it's not going to happen in 2028. It's more likely to happen the year after. But maybe just being a place where that's on the horizon. I've been to town with Kerry all day, and I was saying when Charlotte's 16, I definitely want to move back to Manchester.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd want
And just
that
that,
for a
maybe
bit.
not forever, but yeah, just have a couple of years living in town, and she'll be able to go out, and we'll be in town. She'll be able to get home and stuff. Yeah, it'll be good. So yeah, I think just doing that. I feel it's really weird, but I feel quite content at the moment. Like, even with where I am now, I could have more money, obviously. We could all have more money, but I don't know, I'm fairly happy. I think I just want to definitely work on the business, definitely be in a better place financially with the business. So that, I could work from anywhere. That would be a good place to be. That I could just go, and I'd really like a holiday home. I think realistically that's not going to happen in 4 years, but that is up there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, don't put any limits on it. Dream big. Just never know.
Yeah, and I do dream big. It's just that some of the bigger ones, I think, well, I don't want to do that in 4 years. I want to do that later. Like, for example, I've got this thing in my head at the moment. I've never ever wanted to go traveling. And at the moment, I really fancy going traveling. Not now, but I keep thinking when Charlotte goes to uni, I could go off traveling while she's while it's term time. And then come back for the holidays to be with her. Yeah, I can. That feels like a bit of a reality. Obviously, I can't go traveling now. I've got a 10-year-old, but I can see a time when that could happen. And I really quite fancy that. And I quite fancy doing some traveling on my own as well.
Why not? That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. And I'm also quite open to, let's see what the universe brings in 4 years. Let's see, what she brings me. Maybe I don't need to plan it all myself. Maybe I'll just go with the flow for a bit and see what happens.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's just invite it in, leave it open. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And we could do a pod in 4 years and talk about where we are to, we could listen back to this episode and do an update on it. And I might get the dates right. That might be my thing in 4 years. My memory might improve.
I love it. Well, if we follow Dr. Michael Mosley's advice, then we should have good memory and good strength in 4 years' time.
Yeah, we should. It's funny, someone said to me last week, I went to see the Universe Lady last week. I've done that. I don't think we spoke about that on the pod, have we? Since I last went to see her. So she gave us, it was a very short visit, it was very odd actually, but she gave me this meditation to do and said, I want you to have a pad and pen and write at the side of it. It's really important. And every time I've listened to it, I fell asleep. I can't meditate. It's just not for me. I just always fall asleep. But one of the things she said to me, because I've missed I was supposed to ring her the week before and I forgot. And she said, oh, you're supposed to ring me last week. And I was like, yeah. I said, I did actually ring you, but you didn't answer. I didn't leave a message. And then I forgot. And later on, she said, I was really worried about you. She said, I've really been thinking about you and your mind. And I'm really worried, you're just really forgetful. I was like, yeah, I am. I've got a kid. Are we not all like that?
Yeah.
Do you not find that? Do you not forget loads of stuff because you've got children and a house and one, especially for you, you've got one child, about to go to secondary school. You've got one child at another different stage of his life. You've got a husband at home. You've got a house to look after. You've got a business to run. You've got a charity. You've got the yoga. Don't you forget stuff?
All the time, constantly. Kids are always on at me. It's a heavy mental load that we carry. You can't physically remember, but you just can't.
I honestly, I'm the same, and I'm really forgetful with it. Not I forget to do things, but I do forget to do things. But sometimes I just can't even think straight. I've got that much in my head. If I must remember this, I must remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, But she made it sound like there was something wrong with me. I think it's just an age thing. She probably just can't remember what it's like being a mum, of a young child.
Yeah, that's true. Did she say anything else life-changing or interesting?
No, not at all. No, she just said that she wants to see me in 6 weeks, which I really need to write on the calendar because already I haven't, and already I can't remember when I saw her. And to do this meditation and to ring her when I've done it and wrote notes, and that hasn't happened yet because I keep falling asleep.
Well, you can just
What
tell
can you
her
do?
that. I know. Yeah, I think maybe that says something in itself, doesn't it? I don't know what, but like you say, maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just tired a lot of the time. I don't know. Life's busy, isn't it? It's the same for every time I speak to parents. Everyone's like, "Oh God, I'm knackered. Oh God, I'm tired." It's just how it is. I get used to being this tired. I'm sure you do. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. In other breaking news, I thought I would take my first step to 2028, Sam, yesterday. And I've been
Oh my
banking
God.
on about this for a little bit now. I've written an email to Happy Place Festival and asked them if I can do yoga nidra there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been having that little vision of like doing it at Happy Place Festival.
Yeah.
And then when Lisa Sykes said, "Oh, what's the first step?" I was like, "It's that. I need to do that." And I'd had the email prepared for like a couple of weeks and just not done anything with it. So I sent it yesterday. So watch
Really
this
good.
space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Very exciting. I saw a business coach last week.
Oh
Has
yeah.
he spoke to you since
I don't think it has since we saw her, no.
Oh, yeah, I had a meeting with her on Thursday. It was supposed to be face to face, but she was poorly, so we did Teams, which actually worked for me because I was bombed out last week. Yeah, it was really, really good. So we talked about we've got an action plan together. But yeah, she was so inspiring, and like we had this chat, and she was like, have you ever thought about being a life coach?" And I said, kind of. I thought about it a few years ago, and I did go on a course, like a 2-day taster thing about, being a life coach. And she was like, "I just think you'd be so good at it." Oh, and I was like, "I'm loving your enthusiasm, but don't throw something else at me. I struggle being a money coach." Do you know what I mean? But that was quite exciting. And also, she said, which, when we did that networking with that Catherine,
Yeah.
and she said, "Oh, you should sell yourself online and just talk about like money." And she said she'd send me that little bit of me talking about like sorting your money out. Well, this business coach said the same. She was like, "You need to record yourself and put it online." So it's funny you should say that. Someone else said that. But then I'm doing this. Oh my God, I'm doing this session for International Women's Day. I'm doing like an interactive session around money. And I've put something together. I mean, I've put absolutely not loads of time into it. I think I'm going to wing it on the day. But I think if I do that, I'll do more online stuff, like face to face online.
Yeah.
Because I'm now thinking, why the hell did I agree to do this? I'm absolutely shitting myself, for want of a better word. I get a dry mouth just thinking about it. But it'll be good exposure for me.
Yeah. And good
And
to
for the
like
business.
push through that feeling as well.
Yeah, and it's good to get yourself out of your comfort zone, isn't it? And I will very much be out of the comfort zone. Although I have noticed this week that it's ticketed the event, which makes me feel a little bit better because I don't think like Joe Public will be in there, which makes me feel better. That only people going will be getting a ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just in front of like a million people that are shopping.
Yeah, it's quite contained.
Happens to be. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm going to put my big girl pants on, pull them up, and crack on with it.
You know what could be worse? Dancing in an open tent in the Trafford Centre on a Saturday afternoon.
Do you know what? Actually, that's a really good point. That is absolutely worse.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
We did that. So
yeah, and we did that, and it was awful.
yeah,
And yeah, We survived. So yeah, this will be fine. And the thing is as well, I keep overthinking it. And then I think, Jesus Christ, I'm not being paid for it. People aren't paying like £4,000 a ticket like they pay for Tony Robbins. If I fluff, I fluff.
Yeah.
If they're like, Jesus, she's not a public speaker, that's because I'm not. It'll be fine.
It will. It'll be a good experience. It really will.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So
awesome. So if you're listening and start thinking about who you were in February 29th, 2020, and you remember
February, not March, February.
Tell us about it. We'd love to hear who you were, what you were then, and how that's different now. And also, who you're going to be in 2028. And then we can all come back and do a big podcast about it then. Awesome.
By then, we might do lives. What do you reckon? Do you think we could do like a live talk, like Fran did? Yeah. Do you think we might be doing, because we didn't talk about what we're going to do with the pod, but that would be quite good if we could do something with the pod and actually connect with human beings, like our audience.
Yeah, and be talking to them in person about.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Because we could all talk about things that we did from the pod over those 4 years and what changes they've brought. That would be really interesting.
Yeah, where you were when you like listened to this episode, and then where you are, and whether it inspired you to make those changes, or if not, what inspired you?
Yeah. Ooh, let's wait and see, eh? Let's wait and see. Well, thank you for listening. We hope you had a good leap day, and we wish you well, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
We will. Bye.
You've been listening to the Manifestation Pod with me, Sam Fillingham, and Louise Marshall. Please follow, subscribe, and rate our pod. Share with friends to support two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives.